Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Morrowind. So, it has been a little while in between episodes, I know. That was totally unplanned. A couple of weeks back, I was running one of the cleaner programs that I have on my computer, and I didn't realize that in the last update that program had run, it had reset all of the folders that it is meant to be cleaning. And one of those was my downloads folder, where I kept all of my mods for Morrowind, because the way that OpenMW works is that you don't install the mods directly to Morrowind itself. You actually basically host them in an external folder. Now, when you do the setup for a pre-existing mod list, something like iHeart Vanilla, which was the initial mod setup that I did, it basically sets up folders on your hard drive for you, which is where I have that base mod list set up. But everything I've downloaded since then, I just hosted in my downloads, because it was a pain, going in. There's a very specific file structure that they set up for the pre-existing mod list, and it was just easier to host everything. Because of that, what I ended up with is basically everything outside of that initial mod list got wiped. That included all of the Tamriel Rebuilt stuff and a bunch of my other mods. So thankfully, it turned out that sharing my mod list on each video is not just beneficial for you guys if you want to follow along with the playthrough, but also super beneficial for me if I accidentally delete my entire mod installation. So I had to spend some time reinstalling those mods. And then once I finally got all of that reset up and did a couple of test playthroughs, make sure it was all working, I got around to filming this video. But as I did it, I was just starting to get unwell with a flu. So all of this is post-commentary, because the voiceover file, once I went and listened back to this, sounded just terrible. Like, really, not just like a little bit sick, but like really, really sick, like unlistenably sick. And then I actually lost my voice for quite a while. So I'm finally back on my feet, and I'm finally getting back to this video and actually recording the voiceover. So this is going to be interesting. I have not done a post-commentary playthrough in a very, very long time. So this is a totally different style for me. What you would have seen me doing in the background there is I was running around trying to remember how to get back to Vvardenfell from old Ebonheart. And the reason that I'm doing this is I kind of came to the decision that everything in Tamriel Rebuilt is enormous. Like, that previous episode, just wandering around doing basically one quest took an entire episode's worth of time. So what I wanted to do was come back to Vvardenfell and pick up the Boots of Blinding Speed. I was originally not going to touch that at all, because it is, as much as it is a part of the game, it often does feel exploity, especially with how easy it is to actually negate the blindness. But at the end of the day, this is going to take maybe like 100 videos to get through, and there's clearly a lot of running around. So for my benefit, obviously with the recording, I can just go through and edit out all of that running around, but for my benefit, I decided to go pick them up. And since I ended up back in Vivec, and the Mage's Guild questline, regardless of which way you go, ends up with you having to kill the Archmage anyway. He actually has a ridiculously good item, which is the Necromancer Amulet. So I decided, seeing as I did a little bit of buffing of my character a couple of episodes back, I figured, why the heck not? I'm just going to pick this up now, because it is going to take so many episodes to actually get through the Mage's Quest storyline. I don't know if and when I'll actually be returning to Vvardenfell to do all of that main game stuff. So I figured, seeing as I was here anyway, it's actually shockingly easy to kill the Archmage. You can frenzy him or taunt him, and then you can just kill him ridiculously easily. I mean, I am not a particularly high level at this stage. I don't have any particularly good items. I was just scrolling through here trying to see if there would actually be anything useful and worth using. This was basically a waste of time. I really should have just attacked him straight up. I don't think I actually ended up needing anything external at all. Yeah. So all you need to do is just talk to him, go to Persuade, and just spam taunt over and over. The beautiful thing about OpenMW is that you can hotkey the menu. So instead of having to go click on Persuasion, click on Taunt, I'm just hammering the E key over and over and over and over and clicking on Taunt every time it pops up. So it makes these low dice roll things a lot easier to do. Obviously, if you're doing this in base Morrowind, this would be a complete pain in the butt. But there you go. He attacks us, and yeah, you can see he's got health, and he's got an over-encumbrance spell there, which is not super useful, but it is ridiculously easy with a weapon like a short blade to, yeah, just literally stun lock him in a corner. He basically did no damage to me there whatsoever. Looked like a poison spell at the end there. His staff is okay, especially if you're doing a blunt build. That's actually a really good weapon, but yeah, what we're looking at there is the Necromancer's Amulet, which has spell absorption, which is amazing. It has a small health regen. It's got some normal weapon resistance and some other stuff as well, but it's basically the spell absorption that's going to do us the best. And I actually realized I'd totally forgotten before I started recording this episode that I'd actually set up a health regen on my one of my other items as well. So I've actually got double health regen now. It's still only like 2 or 3 a second, but what it means is that I'm not going to have to stress as much about healing. You can see there our intelligence and willpower is being boosted both by the Mentor's Ring and the Necromancer's Amulet. The only thing that's going to get a little bit annoying, and I'm probably going to go and pick the spell versions up, is constantly swapping out the amulets for the intervention amulets.
Well met.
So probably the plan in the next episode is going to be picking up the spell versions of Civian Divine Intervention, and probably the Mark and Recall ones as well, because I just realized they're all amulets. It's not the end of the world, but I know I'm going to get in a situation where I just forget to put the Necromancer's Amulet back on. Alright, so the next thing that I am doing here, and this is in prep for picking up the Boots of Blinding Speed, is I am going to take a little float across the water from Sadrith Mora here to Tel Fyr. And the reason that I'm going to do that is in this game, Magicka resistance blocks any negative effects. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I just totally forgot that I just had a levitate spell. I think I was looking for a levitation potion. Yeah, I've literally got a levitate spell equipped. I have no idea why I ended up deciding to just swim over to Tel Fyr. This is literally the slowest way to do this. Apologies if the episode looks a little dark too. Yeah, I think, is this where I was playing around with the brightness here? No, I think this is just, I ended up having to pause the game to do something here. So let's just scroll ahead a little bit. Right, here we go. Back into things there. I must have had to pause to do something. I should have scrolled ahead in the footage so I knew what I was doing, but I vaguely remember. It's only been like 2 weeks since I recorded this one. Yeah, I wonder if I have a feeling I'm not going to remember at any stage that I actually had a levitation spell. Though, that said, it is a pretty slow levitation spell, and this does get me some athletics XP, so maybe this was the best thing. And I think I was thinking in my head that I was just going to edit this section out. But maybe I'm not, because I can take this moment to explain what I'm actually doing. So yes, as I was saying, Magicka resistance in this game blocks all negative Magicka effects. It does not block any positive Magicka effects. Now, Magicka in Morrowind is different than in Oblivion and Skyrim. Magicka does not count any of the elemental or poison or anything like that. So having magic resistance, and this is a thing that can be really confusing coming back to Morrowind, having magic resistance does not block any of the elemental damage. You need separate elemental resistance to do. Oh my gosh, I remembered that I had a levitation spell. Well done, me. Fantastic. Yes, I really don't think that's actually any quicker, but there you go. Actually remembered. So the boots of blinding speed are a light armor boots that boost your speed by, quite frankly, a ludicrous amount, like beyond the point that it really actually needs to be. Honestly, it could boost it by like half of what it does and it would still be completely busted. However, to balance that out, what it does is it applies a 100% blindness effect. So blindness is not just a dice roll effect, it actually completely blackens out your screen. Now, the easiest way to resist this is just to do a 100% magic resist spell. And if you use the pause screen buff cheese, what you can do is just make it last for 1 second, and it's reasonably easy to cast. Now, what actually happened with this episode is I forgot that when I reset up my mods and everything, I did not set up the setting that actually pauses, unpauses the game when I'm in inventory. And honestly, after replaying this episode, I'm probably not going to turn that back on because it's too annoying in combat, honestly, and I'm probably going to avoid most of the cheesing stuff as I go along. But yeah, what you can do. My concern was still that I just wouldn't be able to cast a spell consistently. So what I'm doing here is in Tel Fyr, upstairs in Fyr's chambers, which I'm going to have to take a nap. I was just doing I remembered that I came here and robbed some stuff from him last time. I was just doing a quick check here to see if I'd missed anything. I'm going to have to take a nap so I can levitate. Am I going to take a little nap? Or am I going to take a... Oh, I'm just going to restore Magicka. Right. So upstairs here, in one of his heavily locked, I believe it's a level 100 lock. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this cupboard. In here is a piece of armor that has 60% magic resistance, which means that the spell that I need to craft to block the boots of blinding speed... I was really hoping the spell absorb, but grab that. Yeah. So we have the Cuirass of the Savior's Hide with 60% Magicka resistance. It's also much better armor than the one I've got now. You can see how much my armor rating actually jumped up there, which is super duper cool. So yeah, the benefit now is I only need to make a 40% resist magic spell to actually resist the boots of blinding speed. And what it also means is that if for some reason I have to take the boots off or they break or anything, even if I've got no Magicka or anything, I can put them back on and I'll only be 40% blind instead of 100% blind, which basically just means the screen is going to be a little bit dark, but not full black, can't see anything. Which reminds me, I was saying the reason that the game looks darker is part of what was deleted was my shader pack. And when I reinstalled that, I still haven't quite got the settings right. So I still need to... Morrowind is such a pain to record because it looks so much darker in OBS than it does on the screen. And I've boosted the brightness, I've gone into OBS, I played around with filters. The levels and everything I had set for all my previous recordings I had not touched, but it recorded super dark. So I've actually had to go and gamma boost this quite a bit in post, which is why some of the UI elements and everything will look a little bit glowy. So I do apologize for that. It's mainly just some of the interiors, the legibility is not super great. So maybe what I'll just end up doing is boosting the interior brightness for the next episode. Right, so with all of that done now, I've gone back to Sadrith Mora. That character that I spoke to at the dock, that is a mod. She is a character that was actually meant to be in the base game, but for some reason was not added. She not only ferries you between Tel Fyr and Sadrith Mora, sadly not from Sadrith Mora to Tel Fyr, but at least back, but she's actually also I believe a medium armor trainer, one of the higher level ones. Which is a trainer that's just not in the game for some crazy reason. So she was actually meant to be, I'm not sure if she was cut or she just wasn't added last minute or whatever it was. So that is one of the patch mods that literally just adds her back in. Doesn't change anything else, just adds her back in. So now what we're doing is the final step, which is teleporting to Caldera. And for Caldera, I don't know what I was doing here. What was I doing here? Looking for something with spells. What was I looking for? Oh, yeah, of course. I'm trying to find who sells the resist magic spell. That's what I was doing. Yeah, I couldn't remember who here sold the resist magic spell. Okay, there's a lot of running around here while I'm looking for that, so I'm going to do a little bit of an edit here, and I'm going to jump ahead to where I actually end up crafting that spell. Here we go. It's actually Shan over in the Balmora Mages Guild that sells all of these. I was pretty sure it was someone in Balmora that sold them. And her base spell is actually almost good enough to get full resistance, but it's easier just to make one here. So I made a 40% resist, which combined with my armor is obviously 100% resist. It's actually super cheap. My spell cast chance was way higher than it was, so I actually bumped that up to 5 seconds just in case I ever decide to turn unpause for inventory back on again, so it's less cheesy. 5 seconds is enough time to cast it, go into the inventory, quickly click the boots on, especially if you set up a hotkey for the boots as well. So with all of that combined, I'm now going to go out and find Pemini, who is wearing the boots. Now, usually with Pemini, you have to do a little quest for her, an escort quest, but obviously we are not going to do an escort quest. We're just going to permanently borrow her boots off of her corpse. Alright, I'm going to do another edit here because it took me an embarrassingly long time to find Pemini. I knew in my head roughly the direction that I needed to go, but I have a feeling I took a wrong turn very, very early, and this actually took a huge amount of time. I think about 10 minutes of wandering around. This is right up with trying to find that mine in Skyrim as one of the most embarrassing running around looking for things sections. And here we go at last. Yeah, that was about 10 minutes of footage that I just had to chop out there. I don't know why. You don't have to taunt her. There's no witnesses. Okay, good. I did work that out. Yeah, you can literally just stab her here because there's no one to report it. And I got super lucky with the stagger on the first hit. It is actually ridiculous. I'm at 100 difficulty here. That shows how busted that short blade really is. That is, yeah, kind of ridiculous. So, here we go. All we need to do to equip these boots is cast my Magic Immune spell, which has got a ridiculously high cast chance. Should get it on the first roll here. Oh, no, failed the first roll. That's unfortunate. There we go. So with that, I've now got 100% magic immunity, 100% magic resist. Yep, you can see right there. So that means that I can safely pop on the boots, drag them on over, and we get the CU resisted magic. Fantastic. So now we have, yeah, absolutely redonkulous amount of speed, which means that our base walking speed is now actually faster than our top sprinting speed was. And our sprinting speed is basically like a jet airplane. Yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah, the poor game animations can barely even keep up with it now. This does often make combat much harder than it needs to be. Yeah, it was literally straight on past Naked Norguy. I turned right and ended up having to loop the whole map. So you can see there, at my walking speed, I'm basically moving at the speed that I was when I was sprinting. So yes, this is going to make getting around Tamriel a heck of a lot easier. Depending how difficult it makes combat, I may end up hotkeying these boots with the other boots and just switching between them as I need it. I've done that before in combat situations. Ah, a Nixhound decided to follow me into town. Wonderful. But yeah, for the time being, these are going to make life much easier, especially with the teleport spells. It means that that slow teleport spell that I've got actually becomes useful because your speed does apply to your movement speed while you are teleporting. Not teleporting, levitating. Applies while you're levitating. So yeah, went to, what's his face? Creeper. Here. The dialogue zoom in mod really moves you way too close to this guy. Like, way more closer than you need to be talking to him. Thank God the interface covers him up. Yeah, we're just doing a little bit of creeper shuffle just to get rid of some of this ebb and weave armor that I spent so long stealing in the previous episode. But yeah, we've got better stuff now. So we're going to do a little bit of a creeper shuffle. And I wish, yeah, way too close to creeper. I wish that resting in Oblivion and Skyrim were as fast as it is in Morrowind. Just makes life so much easier. I know that there are mods that do that. I don't believe there's one for Oblivion Remastered yet, but there is one for Skyrim that speeds up the resting because thank goodness Skyrim's got the slowest resting in existence. Yeah, that's just restocking our expenses from all of the enchantment and everything we did. It's worked out very nicely. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like a race car. So yeah, this is going to be a much, much shorter episode, especially once I've edited out all of these waste things. But it's just a little thing getting us set up. Mainly for my benefit so that I can hopefully get through more than one quest per episode with this Tamriel Rebuilt stuff because there is such a completely ridiculous amount of content in that mod that I really want to get through. And if this series is not going to take like a decade to do, I do need to boost some stuff out of my character. And I've seen what some of the late level, especially the Mage quests and Fighters Guild quests, I've seen what some of their combat encounters are like, so I don't feel like I've really broken the game too much. There's definitely still going to be a challenge, but I mean, it's not like these games are meant to be ridiculously challenging. This is not a Morrowind challenge run. This is just a fun playthrough, and yeah, here's my annoyance starting to come in with these amulets. So definitely the first thing I'm going to do in the next episode is try to find the intervention spells, which I realize I should have done before I took the boat back to Old Ebonheart, because I do not know if any of the Mages Guilds sell them. Maybe we'll have to do a little teleport around. Anyway, we are coming up on the end of the episode here. We're going to go into our little outro section in just a sec once I get back to Old Ebonheart. So I believe I actually had a mark set. No, I didn't have a mark set. I had a mark set at the dungeon, so that was a good thing I didn't recall there. Although technically what I could have done is recalled and then divine interventioned back to Old Ebonheart. That actually would have been quicker, but yeah, here I am getting lost in the wonderful labyrinthine streets of Old Ebonheart. I do really love the look of this town, even if I keep getting lost every time I wander around it. It's not as bad as 𝐀𝐝𝐝𝐻𝐿. 𝐀𝐝𝐿 was doing my head in. Yeah, here we are. We're at the outro screen. So yeah, I hope I remembered to leave myself some time to do a quick outro. I hope you enjoyed this different style of episode. It's been interesting doing the post-com for it, but we will be back to the live playthroughs and the live commentary from the very next episode, which hopefully should not have anywhere near as much of a gap either. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and we will catch you in the next episode.